these cars are all dead batteries. That car is stranded. Here comes another one hoping for something good to happen here. All of these vehicles right here, all of them have dead batteries because of those charging stations. They're not working.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the bitter cold in Chicago, Illinois, damaging Tesla superchargers and causing many vehicles to be stranded out there in the cold. Now, this is a big part of the reason why I am not going to get an electric vehicle anytime soon. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not just a I hate EVs guy. I'm not that. When I built my house, quick story, when I built my house about 3 years ago, I had a meeting with the people building it, and they were saying, hey, do you want special wiring? Do you want hardwired internet? Do you want surround sound? Do you want security camera hard wires? We'll put up the cameras for you, give you a subscription. I was like, all I really need is the hardwired internet, and I need a 240 volt in the garage because I might get a Tesla. So I was preparing to get an electric vehicle one day in the future, but then I did my research. I'm like, wait a minute. It takes how long to charge at home? How long publicly? I don't have that kind of time. Understand this. A good charger publicly is 150 kilowatts. That'll take you about 40 minutes to an hour to go from 0 to right around 100 on your battery. Now, what if that same charger was going 25 kilowatts? You'll be there 4 hours. You'll be there for 4 hours. And let's say you don't have a charging station at home, which a lot of people don't. You know, you live in an apartment complex, you got 500 people in there, 10% of the block has electric vehicles, 50 cars. You might have no charging stations at the apartment complex. If they do, might be 5 right there. You got to go to a supercharger. They're filled up, driving around the city. You can't find anything. When you do find one, it's slow. It's taking you hours. The technology is just not there, and the cold weather is making it worse. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the video from the beginning. If you want to see this full video, of course, link will always be in the box. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
It really is a unique story. We got several calls from drivers stranded. These are Tesla drivers. So take a look. We're here in Oak Brook. We're hearing from several Tesla drivers that these charging stations, so these cars are all dead batteries. That car is stranded. Here comes another one hoping for something good to happen here. All of these vehicles right here, all of them have dead batteries because
and these are supposed to be the good charger. These are Tesla chargers. They have other kind of off-brand chargers. So these should be good ones that'll get you charged up pretty quick. But obviously you got cold weather and you have just general repair problems. Are you going to be able to come out and repair these stations in this very, 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 very cold Chicago weather, snow, ice, wind? It's a mess.
Those charging stations, they're not working. So these drivers came to charge their batteries in the cold, but these charging stations are not working. In Evergreen Park, same story. Take a look at that area right there near 95th and Western. We found several Tesla owners there, stranded with dead batteries from the cold and not enough working charging stations at that location. We talked to a driver here in Oak Brook, where we are, who tried to call Tesla for help and nothing.
Okay, yesterday I was here and there was just lines of cars, but there was only a couple charging working, but it seemed very disorganized, like no one knew.
So let's pause for a minute. So according to what he's saying, and I'm just taking it at face value without getting too deep into it, lines of cars. So what, a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen cars, who knows? But probably a lot of cars, and it might have been only 2 stations working at all. And the ones that were working, what's the kilowatts on that? Are we getting, you're not getting 350. I doubt that. If you're getting 150, you're doing good. But you probably are getting 20, 25, something like that. You're almost getting to the point of a home charger, which is like overnight. You got to let it sit for 8 hours. And obviously that's going to create a big backlog, because if you are able to get your vehicle charged in 1 hour normally at these charging stations, but because they're broken, you got fewer of them available, and the ones that do work are working slower. So rather than 1 hour, it's taking 4 hours. Rather than having 4 vehicles in that spot within the 4 hours, you got one. Now you got a backlog. It's a mess.
What to do, and a lot of people were just led here by their cars.
Okay,
So they
so
were
you-
abandoned, basically.
So some drivers had to find rides back home. Others brought another car here to wait for these stations to get up and running and basically to keep an eye on their vehicles. As always, in these extreme conditions, experts advise if you don't have to drive, if you don't have to leave the house, then just don't. It's simply too dangerous to wait around for anything or even be outside for any exposed period of time. These temperatures can be life-threatening. Hypothermia, frostbite can set in just a matter of moments. If you do have to be outside, if you don't have a choice, you have to go to work. For example, you take public transportation, bundle up and cover up as much exposed skin as possible. We spent just a few minutes out there doing these interviews, and
It's cold.
I mean, it is painfully cold out there this morning, so please heed the warning and protect yourself.
So my advice would be internal combustion engine until we can get this electric vehicle technology really tightened up. Again, I like electric cars. I like the Rivian. I like the Tesla truck. These are nice cars. The Plaid, these are nice vehicles. I like them in theory. But in actuality, it's just not really, it doesn't make any sense. The batteries, if they go, they're very expensive. It takes forever to charge. That time charging, even on a normal day, is too much for me. 40 minutes, 30 minutes if you're doing good, an hour probably. I go to the Buc-ee's all the time, right in between Chattanooga and Atlanta. I go there all the time. And there's plenty of gas stations, gas pumps. You can find a gas station anywhere. Every street corner you got gas stations with a canopy over the pump. So if it's raining, snowing, whatever, you get an F-150. Hey man, put your pump to your tank, fill up. Less than 5 minutes, you in and out. You can pull up to the pump, let it rock, go in the store, get a bag of chips and a soda pop, come on back out, and go about your day. With a Tesla, you pretty much anchored there for an hour at best, if you can find an open and available stall. When I go to Buc-ee's, as I close, it might be 300 pumps, and I'm not even exaggerating. It's a lot of pumps. Probably about 300 gas pumps. 100, I don't know. It's a lot. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. It's rows of gas pumps. All canopy, high canopies. It's beautiful. You got to go to the back of the establishment, tucked away in the corner. Maybe it's 10 to 15. If you're lucky, 20, probably not that many. Maybe 10 to 15 charging stations, and they're usually about halfway to 75% full. So if you want to increase the number of electric vehicles on the road, you got to deal with the fact that most of these charging stations are full. They take forever. I go by these places all the time, and I see them in the car, pretty much being held hostage by their vehicle for an hour or more. And that's if they can find a stall that's open, and that's if the actual charger is working properly. You might be there for hours upon hours because not everyone has a garage. This is my very first time ever having a garage in almost 40 years of living. Within the past 3 years, it was always pull up to the front of the house, never even a parking deck. And if it was a parking deck, if you got a unit, you got 500 people in the actual building, 10% got cars that have a battery that needs to be charged, and you only got 5 stalls for the whole apartment. That's 45 vehicles still need to get charged. And that same thing is happening all over the city. Where are you going to go? How are you going to get it done? It's too time consuming. The technology is janky. When it's cold, it's going to be slow. It's going to break. To me, it doesn't make sense right now to push forward the electric vehicle revolution. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on electric vehicles? Do you own an electric vehicle? Do you own an EV in the very cold weather? Chicago, Milwaukee, Toronto, Canada, somewhere like this. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I mean, EVs in theory are pretty cool. I'm not an environmentalist. I just like cars. I like technology. I'm a nerd first. Okay, that's just me. Before black, whatever, I'm a nerd first. I enjoy tech, but at a certain point, it's got to be efficient technology. I don't like technology that doesn't work very well. Okay, if it sounds cool and then when I use it, it doesn't work as advertised, it's janky, it's kind of slipshod, I'm good. Wait till you get that whole thing fixed, then I'll come back. I don't want to be a beta tester. I don't want to have some janky halfway product that doesn't really work all the time. Give me good technology that always works, or it works most of the time. I can't have a vehicle that's gonna act up when it gets cold because I gotta use it. I gotta get from point A to point B. Okay, am I having an emergency? Look, I need it to work. So until you guys, the EV people, can fix the EVs, make technology better, the batteries better, more charging, more efficient, less power. Until that happens, hey, I got my gas guzzler. I got the Mustang for just regular driving conditions. And then when it gets inclement, when it's snowing, raining, winding, I got the F-150, gas guzzling, and be off to the races. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.